Hello and welcome to this video on bonsai tools. One of our earliest videos was spent describing the common and primary bonsai tools. In this video we'll describe some of these in more detail, but more importantly how you can modify and or maintain them for better performance, ease of use, and comfort. There are tools that you will commonly use to cut your bonsai. Root cutters, concave cutters, and shears. For the most part, each use is obvious in its name. Root cutters are flat blades that cut through solid masses. Branch cutters are for removing branch stubs to just below the surface of the trunk. Shears or scissors cut small branches, leaves, and so on. Knob cutters remove the branch to below the surface of the trunk. The first thing to do is the simplest, but most often overlooked. Maintain your tools. The best thing you can do is keep them sharp, which can be hard to do without some experience sharpening knives or tools before. Next, keep the tools oiled. The pins and pivots of your tool will get dirt, dust, and debris build up, which will make the opening and closing more difficult. If you're using carbon steel tools, you're also likely to see a build-up of rust. Let's begin with the first of the tools, root cutters, and these are simplicity. There are two opposing blades that crush the root between them. It has an almost pinching motion. The blades are made in such a way as to be able to cut but also resist damage from rocks and other hard material which will chip the blade. We have found that two things will help in particular. That is, grinding the blade to a new angle, and weirdly, annealing the metal to make the blade softer. The softer or less angular grind on the blade holds the edge for less time because the metal is annealed. The advantage is that chipping does not occur and large sections are not compromised and need to be ground back each time it is sharpened. This means you can maintain the edge on it, and you can use it more roughly, but more easily bring it back to working condition. This means it performs more effectively for longer. Branch cutters are a slightly different matter. We harden the steel and then sharpen it to a much finer point. We're not worried about hardening and refining the blade here as the tool cuts through the branch, not roots, and so the chances of rock or debris are very low. This lets us keep a sharp edge for longer and it will not chip. You can also extend the handles to get more leverage. Removable extensions are best as it lets you keep your tool small but also make it longer when needed. Shears are another case of sharpening the blades. Here we used a method common to chisels and plain blades, of grinding it so it has two steps. Knob cutters are another blade grind, but this time we used a woodworker's lathe chisel grind. These modifications can be used however you see fit with these particular tools. You may not want to use it for one, but you may choose to take the modifications we've made and apply it to another. These have been for our go-to or daily tools. These are the tools that you may want to look at making more comfortable or work better first. That of course is not the end of the changes you can make. We will look at two more, leaf scissors and your wire cutters. This can also be used for pliers. Leaf scissors are only slightly modified. Looking at the basic handle shape of these scissors, you can see they're narrow wire almost, but they are wide. What we can do is extend that handle out, but also make it skinnier. This means that you don't need to push the handle anywhere near as far to cut with it. Wire cutters and pliers are something we modify only slightly, but it is a useful change. The head is ground down to a more narrow point, while still keeping width. This makes it easier to fit into narrow spaces between the branches. This makes it easy to remove or tighten wire on the tree. We've also in the past used things like hessian, or even the raffia we wrap the tree with, to make it more comfortable to hold, and depending on your choice you may find this also useful. These modifications may not all appeal to you, and may not suit the tools you have. This video just gives some ideas about what you can do to your tools to make them work better or be more comfortable. Thank you for watching. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions below.